a sort of commercial gallery or anything like that. It's not. So it's sort of happening outside of that whole institution, and so it's more of a space for us to come and talk more than sort of worry about our sales prices. Yeah.
I think the history of Glamfa is really important toward that end, that it was actually an intervention, I think, into the market forces that said that certain schools were the schools to look at for emerging artists. And so I think it's really a wonderful action, political action, that was made to create this exhibition and say, you know, we here at Long Beach are artists too, and we want to create an important venue where there's a conversation, where people can see our work too, because we have something to say as well. And just because the market only looks at a certain number of schools, you know, we don't buy into that. So I think that I think Glamfa is an amazing institution already. So I thank you guys for that.
Do we have anybody else want to touch that?
Sorry.
Yeah. Thanks for saying that. That was really wonderful to hear about Glamfa. And also sort of on another path along with that question. I'm not really sure that anyone goes into an MFA program because they want to make money. Maybe, and some people do, but and not that the question is, you know, geared in that way, but I think that it really is more about conversation. And I don't know, I just looked over to these guys and I was thinking, like, it's not like you're a master of fine arts, like you're a slave of fine arts. But that, of course, that doesn't sound quite right either, but it's something coming from love rather than trying to make money. But, you know, it helps to have skills, for sure. It helps to have vocabulary, and it helps to have maybe a little teacher training. So, you know, having this kind of degree, it's not like a worthless degree as far as being able to make money goes, but it's not the one you want if you're, that's what your main goal is.
You can sell soap.
Yeah, you can sell soap. And you can probably sell soap if you have an MFA too. Just have, you know, probably have another degree also, but, right.
As a member of the majority on the panel, I'm just going to say what everybody's thinking, and that there's a kind of it's a game. You know, Uncle Sam and I are betting on the same goal, that I'm going to be able to return the favor in the form of compound interest to him, and I think you have to kind of first decide what your feelings on putting value on something are. And if I have a friend who I went to undergrad with, who joined the art fair circuit, he tours, he's happy, he's supporting his family. It's a value for him, and I think value really is an individual call, and not sort of artist as career. Well, are you making money? I think I broke even on my material investments, and you know, maybe that's the best I'll do, but that's not my primary concern.
That also might be kind this kind of opens up another question.
Yeah.
No. Okay, here we are. This sort of starts another question, I guess, about art and artists in this country versus other places where there's a lot more funding and support. You can get funding and support. Of course, it takes a lot of legwork, maybe a lot more legwork here. But so it's kind of an interesting thing to think about being an artist. There's a whole range. There's the starving artist, and there's the successful artist, and then there's the bunch of things in between. But there's important questions to ask about what it's like to be an artist and living in this country and trying to make it all. And of course, right now, living in this country, living in this world, most people are, many people, I don't know the statistics, but are part-time or freelance or contractors kind of anyway. And that sort of feels like what artists have been doing for a long time. So maybe there's a little something in being versatile and sort of flexible from the get-go. Who knows?
Do we have any other questions from? Oh, I'm gonna go center right here.
I'm sorry. Was your name Jean?
Yes.
How exactly do you? This could be a general question too, but how exactly do you approach like making a full-blown installation as a piece? Because like as an undergrad artist, basically what I do is put something on a square inside of a square. Like how do you go about having an entire room be you on your piece?
Well, it's pretty much the same process, but on a larger scale, I guess. I mean, not to be at all snarky, but, you know, well, personally for me, it starts out in either in the viewfinder of a camera, so there's a little framing going on right there, which is the same thing you do with your paper. And then it'll go to the computer, and there's already sort of a set parameter there, and then I can kind of take it into a room, especially if the room is dark, which is kind of what I do. So it sort of translates bigger and bigger and magnifies. So it's probably very much the same process as I think you're describing with making a composition on a piece of paper. Each of them have difficulties and challenges. Yeah. Anybody else on it?
Hello. Hold it. Okay. I guess it's always it's always a process of thinking about what I want, and what I want is always a really complicated question. And if you think really hard about what it is you want, then that was like one of my first class in the MFA, my first quarter. I had no art education, and my professor was like, "This is not art, it's propaganda. Why are you here in grad school? Why did you think this was art? Why are you in art school at all? What do you want to do with your life?" Something like that, Iron Maiden style. And so I thought really hard about what I want to do. But mostly what we do, fortunately working with another person means you have to talk about things. So generally we actually just talk things out kind of verbally about what the hell we want. And it was like this series that we're working on now was actually like mostly a verbal process, probably because I don't know how to draw really at all. But we mostly just talked about it and like wrote a grant about it and wrote like little texts on a wiki online about it, long before we made any diagrams.
Yeah. Actually, for this exhibition, our Slapshot video was originally going to be on a screen, and I said, please, can it be projected? Life-scale projection is really important because it's like this low-budget way of immersing yourself or immersing the viewer into like a environment. So for me, the full-scale projection of the body is very important. I also had this other piece where it just couldn't have worked any other way. I had a bed in my studio and I invited people to lay on the bed. And when they lay on the bed, a projection of me naked on a bed shows up next to them on the wall. So that was very important and I'm screaming, I love you, I love you, I love you. And so that was really important to me that it's full scale. So for the viewer, it's like I'm there. It's like a low budget hologram. So scale is very important. And I know too, it's like the joke is bigger is better. So just make it really big. It'll be cool. I don't know. But I mean, I like big art. But okay, let's stop talking.
Any other questions? Okay, right over here.
I thought Bryan said something really interesting about the whole idea of maybe like a Ponzi type scheme, but that's over the top. But I think that there maybe